What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. 3-0, we've just won, put us in a really good position in the table. Leicester 3, Brighton 0. We've got Rich, guest so thank you for coming on, Rich. And we've got Ant, as usual, who's, don't know if you can see his name, but he's Ant Madisson for England, which is ironically spelt wrong as well. It's 1D, 2 S's. But just quickly over to you, Ant. Quickly over to you, Ant. First of all, since you put him in the title, since you put him in your username, what do you think to Madison's performance today?
Oh, I've been saying for weeks he needs to just take those few more risks. But we know that when he takes them, he's a really special player. And today, hopefully, getting those 2 goals, we can see sort of that confidence come back within, because he is one of our game changers. Like him, Vardy, Barnes, and stuff. They're the 3 players that we're really going to be reliant on this season in terms of goals and getting forward. So I don't think he's been poor the start of this season, like a lot of our fans have been saying. I just don't think he's reached the level that we know he's capable of. But today he was absolutely world class, particularly that second goal. So hopefully we can just see that consistency really start to stay with him throughout the rest of the season and really build some confidence.
Let's hope so, and let's hope so. And I think especially coming into the run of games in the Premier League that we have, I think we'll get on to the next 3 fixtures in a second. But yeah, totally agree there. So just reach over to you. Just kind of, what were your initial thoughts of the game? Because obviously the first half and second half were just 2 different performances. But just want to concentrate on the first half. What were your thoughts overall?
Yeah, okay. If I'm just sort of focusing on the first half, I think what was really evident was the fast pace. I think we were really utilising the wings, and just sort of, we were. I mean, God, Justin and all Brighton, they just had. I mean, their boots must be white. Because it was just unbelievable. They were just constantly up and down. They were doing their defensive duties really, really well. But yeah, I mean, Justin, for me, was an absolute standout player again. I'm sure we'll talk about him later. But yeah, I think we really utilised the wings really well. But when we were sort of in that final third, the passing was quick. It was that one touch, just, 1-2 around the corner. And yeah, we had plenty more opportunities before that first goal. I mean, I think we had 2 corners in the first, I think it was before the 4th minute, we'd had 2 corners, which just shows you, I know, and fair play, they had, they had 2 really good attempts. Schmeichel made 2 brilliant saves. But other than that, that was it. Schmeichel must have been so bored for the rest of that game. And yeah, for me, that first half, I don't want to go on too much about it, but for me, that first half, it was all about the quick play, utilising the wings, and getting some balls in early, and just, yeah, really quick, fast-flowing football, 1-2s, interchanging, and brilliant play.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think one thing I wanted to pick up on specifically that you mentioned was the Schmeichel bit, because I think a lot of the people think, oh, clean sheet, very good. I think if he doesn't make that save in the first, 10 to 20 minutes or so, and keep us in the game, it could have ended up very differently. And compared to like the Fulham game where they conceded an early goal, the heads drop. It just seemed to be something different this time. But I think Schmeichel deserves a lot of praise just because he has 1 or 2 opportunities every game to kind of make a great save, and he does. And it's what is going to push us on to that next level, and it's going to make us win games.
Yeah, and as you say, that save early on, if Brighton go 1-0 up, it's a completely different game. But that's what he's there to do, save chances like that. It was a brilliant save, and he's one of the best shot stoppers in the league, and we're very fortunate to still have him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just want to bring back one thing that you mentioned earlier, Rich, as well, about the corners. And I put that down. I know you messaged me about it as well, that we're finally doing something different. We've realised that, at least we tactically realised that 6'7", I can't remember, number 33 that they have is absolutely immense, and we are not getting over him. So it was I think you mentioned it was just good to see us actually, A, beat the first man, and B, try something different.
I found it really interesting that we didn't put a ball in the box once from the corner, as in straight from the corner. Obviously, it was some brilliant, really well worked. They obviously training ground things that had worked. Some of them worked better than others, but I love that. Brilliant. It just kept them guessing. They didn't know, they didn't know what was going on. And obviously the Brighton players, less players knew. And yeah, it was fantastic. It was fantastic to see something a bit different. As you said, we're not great at set pieces. And I think it was a really key area that Brendan had obviously focused on and said, right, when we get these corners, we're going to do short corners, so let's work on some and let's do something a little bit different. Obviously we didn't score from them, but we looked a lot more dangerous than we have done in the past.
Yeah, and one thing, I totally agree with what you were saying, because there's a lot of the time that we were playing that going forward, we've not been great at corners, but at the same time, going and defending corners, I think, especially in the second half, is where we came into our own as well. I don't think Brighton threatened us that much, but I think overall, we did defend them corners quite well, considering the back line that they had.
Yeah, they've got some big boys there. Obviously, Dan Burn, the left back, 6'7", is he?
Yeah.
Lewis Dunkey's not a small man either, so dealt with them really well.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think they need praise for, that kind of would slip under under a little bit. I think one thing I've put down as well is that 22 to 25 minutes, we kind of peppered the goal a lot of the time. We didn't take our opportunities, and I thought, is this the point where Brighton get a goal, they get an opportunity missed, and we're looking back at that in the same way that they did with Schmeichel, where he made a good save. We're going, did we miss an opportunity? But we got, I think, 2 goals in one goal in 29 minutes from the Madisson goal. Rich, what are your initial thoughts just on that goal? Because it wasn't the best of the night, but I think it's what we needed at that time, because we were creating the opportunities.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you're going to get them throughout the season, aren't you? You're going to have ones that you go, that's a certain goal, and it doesn't go in because it takes a deflection, or the keeper makes an incredible save, or it just hits the post. And then you're going to get those that shouldn't go in that do. I think back to the title-winning campaign when Kante just sort of kicked the ball. I remember, I can't remember who it was against, but it was about 12 yards out, and he just sort of punted it, and it went really slowly. And I don't know how it went in to this day, but it did. And I think it was kind of like that, really. I mean, it was a good strike, and it took a deflection, which is what I think took it away from the keeper. So he, probably should have done better, but I understand that, sort of thing. So I think we deserved that look. You create your own look. So, like you said, look, you can only score if you're hitting hitting it towards the goal. So they did the right thing. And yeah, I think Madisson, I'm really glad Madisson got it. And I know Ant obviously has touched on it. I think he had an absolute fantastic game. I just want to touch on 2 things, if you wouldn't mind, about Madisson. There was the interview he did after, I can't remember what game it was. It was a couple of games back now. And he did an interview, and he was just saying about, obviously, in fact, it was the Sheffield United game, and he was saying about obviously the pass through to Vardy, and the guy sort of asked him and said, it was that last bit, you managed to make it work, and he was sort of saying, well, I'm not here to have 100% pass accuracy. I'm not here to have that. I'm here to create chances, and if you're creating chances, you're having to take those risks. So, and he said, I'm not going to get it every time. It's gonna basically fall flat a lot of the time, but when it does work, that's what it's for. And his passion, after the goal today, went right over to Brendan Rodgers. Him and Brendan Rodgers had a massive hug, and I thought, right, that's telling. There's something in that him and Brendan Rodgers have obviously got this understanding, and you can tell that he takes him under his wing, and is giving him the confidence to play like that. So yeah, really, really happy, and I echo what obviously Ant's thoughts on the England call-up.
Yeah, definitely so. I think one thing as well is that one player that I think a lot of people picked up on, that we've been kind of watching, and he's played every single game since the beginning of the season, is James Justin. So I think this has been, in my opinion, and his best game in a Leicester City shirt. There's been some very good opportunities, as we've mentioned before. He's played all sorts of versatile positions: left wing, right wing, a back 3, left back, right back. So what did you think of him and his performance today? Because at times I was thinking Castagna and Ricardo are just not going to get a look in the side if he keeps up like this.
I wouldn't quite go that far. Ricardo walks back in, like, if anyone's there. But no, I thought he was absolutely brilliant today. And playing as a flat left back or a flat right back like he did today is his natural position. But I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and credit to him, he was causing them all sorts of problems. He was staying wide, he was coming in, like Brighton just couldn't deal with him, and he was just giving us sort of another option. And I think when we did switch to the back 4, we looked a lot more dangerous going forward. But as well, defensively, I think it helped him as well, because he didn't sort of look in between two minds of whether to get forward and get back. He sort of seemed to be a lot more comfortable as a right back compared to as a wing back.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. And I think one thing to mention as well is because he's played every single game, he can be kind of, bearing in mind that's in Europa League and the Premier League as well, he just doesn't look tired. And that's something that's so surprising because the amount of times that I've seen him, even in the dying seconds of the game, right, wanting to get forward, wanting to put a cross in, I just thought he was absolutely immense today. What are your thoughts on him, Rich? Because, yeah, again, I'd just say he was absolutely phenomenal today for me.
He seems to get faster every game. Is it me? Or, like, every game I see him, I'm like, wait, I'm sure he's just sprinted faster than he did last game. And then every single game, he's looking stronger, he's looking quicker. And something he's really improved, in my opinion, is the that link-up play that we talked about, because that is something that I think Ricardo has got on him. Now, Ricardo links up with whoever. He just links up with them, and you know he's going to pass the ball to them, but then he's going to bomb it and expect the ball back. And James Justin was doing that today so well, and he was linking up, firing down those wings, and also covering. I sort of mentioned it, I touched on it earlier, but I thought his defensive play today was brilliant. He busts a gut to get back. He will not rely on, say, Fofana covering him, and you know he gets back and he's like, right, no, this is my job. I've messed up, or I'm out of position. I need to get back. So I think and I agree 100%, Neil. Like his tank is unbelievable. He just never gets tired. He just carries on and on and on. And long may it continue. I think when Ricardo comes back, I agree with Ant. I think Ricardo comes straight back in the team, which is, you know, if it means dropping Justin. I mean, to be fair, you could probably stick him in goal and he'd do your job. So, but yeah, if Justin does get dropped, I think it's going to be harsh on the lad because he's played unbelievable.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's just played so well, and obviously coming into that with the second goal, he set up the assist for that from an absolute, as you were saying, a brilliant run from that right hand side just to even start that position all the way in that basically right back position to get the assist was a hell of a goal. But just bring it on to you, Ant, with Jamie Vardy. I mean, the guy doesn't get many touches. This is the same with the Sheffield result as well. He didn't get very many touches of the ball. However, somehow he still managed to get on that team sheet. And I think Alan Shearer was saying on Amazon as well today that that's the job of a centre forward, and also that's what he's going to expect for somebody that's 34. Just on to his performances today. I know he didn't have a lot to do, but I think what he did was special for the team.
I think it's sort of we're seeing him evolving sort of obviously with age. He can't run around like he used to, closing every single player down, every single sort of defender. And we're seeing him sort of be a lot more efficient with that energy, making a few more clever runs in behind instead of every time making a run in behind. It's more choosing when to make that run. And I think he's like a fine wine, isn't he? Just getting better and better with age. Like to have 14 touches in the game, have 2 assists and a goal, doesn't get much better than that.
No, it really doesn't. And the only thing that was better than his 1 goal and 2 assists was James Madison's final goal. I mean, that was something that when I watched it back, I was like, this reminds me of Riyad Mahrez against Chelsea, the 2-1 during the 15-16 season. And just your thoughts on that, Rich, and just the goal, because that will go down, I think, when we do our end of year awards as one of the goals of the year.
Yeah, I think you've really touched on it. I mean, what a goal! It was, you know, reminiscent of Mahrez in regards to just a few step overs, turn it on, you know, to fake the shot, turn it, and then just obviously on his left. I mean, I think they on Amazon they were saying it was quite reminiscent of his goal against Man City, and obviously the difference was Man City, it was his right foot, but he was further out, so you could kind of say there's some comparison there, but it was just incredible. Top bins, left foot. He knew exactly what he was doing with it. The keeper had no chance. The curl on it was just beautiful. And it just shows if you give him that time and you give him that space, he's got that quality to just absolutely boss it. And some of the runs he was doing as well, obviously he was a bit cheeky and went for his hat trick, and he acknowledged it and said, "Oh, sorry," but you could, who wouldn't go for, when he ran through all those players and then he just sort of punted it with his left and ended up being a weak shot. But no, that goal was just top draw, especially on your weaker foot.
Exactly. I think it was brilliant and kind of out of position as well, playing on that right-hand side, hitting it with your left. I think that was really good. And in the second half, I think they kind of toned down a little bit. Again, defensively, we were strong, but again, Brighton didn't really throw too much at us. Do you think that is do you think that's an issue for, I wouldn't say an issue, but do you think that's a reason that we should celebrate, or is it just that Brighton weren't good enough? What do you think, Ant?
I don't even think. I think second half it was just about managing the game, not taking sort of any unnecessary risks to let Brighton back in the game and just seeing it out. Like, yes, it would have been great for us to go get 4, 5, and 6, but at the same time, if we keep pushing on and stuff, it allows Brighton a route back into the game. So we just controlled possession, sort of controlled the ball, and really just shut up shop in the second half.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've not got too many notes on it, to be honest, but going forward, I think it's a good position to have. Obviously, I think Christian Fuchs looked a little bit tired, to be honest. I know he's not played too many games, but he is aging a little bit, and maybe that role is decent enough, but I think he's second fiddle to somebody like Söyüncü when he comes back into that role anyway. Just get your quick thoughts on man of the match today. For me, there was 2, but Rich, just you first. Who do you think was your man of the match today?
I think I know which 2 you're going to say, because I got the same 2. If it's who I think, but for me it was between James Justin and Madisson, and I'm going to go with James Justin just because of the Madison's goals were incredible, and he brought so much to the team, but Justin scared the life out of a 6'7" defender. So yeah, for me, his industry was incredible. He set up so many chances that he set up. Let's not forget there was a couple of chances. I've forgotten. I think Perez missed one and Vardy might have missed, but there was a couple of chances he set up as well, which could have been another couple of goals. So he could have got a few assists today, and should have got a few assists today. So yeah, for me, James Justin.
Yeah, totally agree. What are your thoughts, Ant? Who's your man of the match?
I think you can guess by my name tonight, but it's Madisson. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And that goal, if Bruno Fernandes scores that, there's going to be a 4-series Netflix series about him with a feature film and everything. But because it's James Madisson at Leicester, you'll probably see it on Match of the Day, and that'll be the end of it. And I'm absolutely fine with that. But he was absolutely superb tonight, and I really hope that now he's going to start playing with that confidence again, and he can start expressing himself, because he is one of the most creative players in the league, and I really hope we can start to see him sort of playing and sort of with that confidence and that freedom that we know when he does play with, he's absolutely lethal.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, but for me, I'd still give it to James Justin, in my opinion, for the performance that he did today, and considering all the fact that he played. I think just coming back to the James Madisson point, I think that it is right that, again, he doesn't. He will get, if it's from Bruno Fernandes, then they're going to make some amazing film out of it. But I think one of the amazing things that he's done is that he's managed to prove everybody wrong. So a lot of the statistics that were coming out towards the beginning of the year was he's only managed to assist 2 and score 2, and that kind of, obviously as a cam, that's what you want it. You don't. I think it was before the Sheffield United game. Now he's got 1 assist in the Sheffield game. He's got a goal. He got 2 goals now. So maybe he can push on from this as well. And I'm really hoping that this is the case, because, again, as I was saying, coming into this run of games, this is what we need. And we need our big players to really shine in this. So we've got Everton at home for the next game, Tottenham away, and Manchester United away. Now, these are going to be 3 games that we're going to be covering post-match, and we'll maybe do some pre-match for that as well. But as you gave, the games are coming thick and fast at the moment, so we can see what we can do. But out of those 3 games, Rich, which do you think are winnable?
All of them. They're all winnable. We beat Man City 5-2. We're not little Leicester. We see on Twitter, and I'm not going to get on my high horse here, but I've supported Leicester all my life because my dad supported. Leicester, and if I hadn't, he'd have kicked me out at the age of 4. So I followed them, all the way through League One and, administration, all that sort of stuff. So I'm used to us being little Leicester. And then the title season happened, title winning season happened, and we've had a lot of people that have jumped on the bandwagon, and I'm fine with that. I don't care. I don't care when you start supporting us. If you support us, you're a friend of mine. Brilliant. But we're not little Leicester anymore. So I can fully expect that we can beat all those, win all those games. Now, what I will say is we're Leicester. And as we were talking pre this, Neil, we've not drawn a single game yet. We've either won or lost every single one of them. So personally, I'd be happy with 6 points. I'd be really happy with 6 points. I think 9 is doable. But yeah, I'd be happy with 6.
And over to you again. I totally agree with you, Richard. Some bits, but I don't think it'll be as easy as. But again, it will be easy as you're saying. But that's just the part of me that was going against the Fulham game, going, "This is typical Leicester, lose points here." That cog was always going in the back of my head. So again, over to you, Anne.
It won't be easy, but I think we can. You asked that what's possible. I would be happy with 6 points. So yeah, but no, I agree with you. If we come out with none, I won't be surprised.
It would be the typical Leicester thing to do. Over to you, Ant. Yes, there's Everton at home, Tottenham away, Man United away. Which one do you think we can win?
I reckon Everton we can win. Be very difficult, but they'll be bouncing off their win against Chelsea. Tottenham, well, Tottenham's a hard one because it just depends which Tottenham turns up. They can either be absolutely incredible or absolutely dog like they were today. And then United, I'd love us to beat United, but we've just got such a poor record against them. But for me, it's one of those, it wouldn't surprise me if we won all 3 and then lost the next game to Palace and Newcastle.
Yeah, it's in the same way that we've got 3 wins in the group, got a draw against Braga away, and then went away to Zoila Hansken, lost 1-0. It was like, part of us was like, this is rubbish, but this is so typical Leicester. But I'd like to thank, Rich, and thank you both for coming on once again. Thank you for everybody for watching so far. We'll make sure to bring you more post-match conferences on the rest of the games coming up in the Premier League, and we'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye.